Hello, this is Ian Campbell, and this is my IOP for Chapter 2 of Frederick Douglass's Narrative of the Life. And specifically within Chapter 2, I'm going to be talking about how Frederick Douglass does a great job of showing the value of slaves, and not necessarily the value of slaves as property and like their value in the fields, how much they can produce, such and such, but I'm going to talk about how he shows us the value of slaves as people deemed by their owners. And we're going to start with the monthly allowance of food, because this was really interesting to me. Slaves would get 8 pounds of pork or its equivalent in fish. That's what Frederick Douglass tells us. And that's astounding because today some people could eat 8 pounds of meat in a week, maybe even less, and they were only given 8 pounds to last them the whole month. And he also says 1 bushel of cornmeal, but still, you could eat all that in a week, and these slaves have to ration this to last them an entire month. Prisoners are given more food than these slaves were, and that just shows that they were the lowest of the low on the totem pole in society. So people who committed serious crimes were treated better than slaves. And he also talks about their clothes and how much they were given in that regards. 2 coarse linen shirts, 1 pair of linen trousers, 1 jacket, 1 pair of trousers for winter, one pair of shoes, and 1 pair of stockings. That's one outfit, and that's for the whole year. And he says it couldn't have cost more than $7. Yet again, I go back to the prisoner thing. Prisoners were given better clothes than these slaves were. It's astounding how little owners thought of their slaves. They were literally property, nothing more than that. And especially when it comes to the children, children are generally a no-no in all aspects of life. You can't do anything to children. Children are innocent. You're not supposed to hurt them. If you're at war with another country, generally you're supposed to leave the children and women alone. But slave children were just told to do whatever. If they ruined their shirts, they would walk around naked for until the next allowance day. So you could walk down the street and there would be 20, 30 naked children. And generally, children, as I said earlier, are supposed to be on a higher level of innocence. They're supposed to be left alone and let to grow. But what the slaveholders do is they teach the children at a young age that they're nothing better than property. And taking away their food or limiting it and limiting their clothes is a great way to do that. And this introduction in chapter 2 to just how little the slaves were thought of really puts into perspective why Frederick Douglass does the things he does in the rest of the novel. Because he learns at a young age that he's nothing more than property and he wants to change that. And also the bedding situation and the nighttime routine. They didn't get any beds. One common bed on the cold, damp floor that they had to sleep in. Slaveholders' dogs probably slept in better conditions than their slaves. So an animal was given better treatment than people. But to the slaveholders, they weren't people. They were just objects that could be neglected and traded. Just astounding how this introduction in chapter 2 really puts all that into perspective.